Help save the lives of the unborn children by aiding women whom choose life instead of abortion. Take a stand for life. Purchase your Choose Life license plate today. For more information, go to chooselife.org or call 352-624-2854.
WWOCA,
This is WOCA, News Talk 1370.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Wow, morning's going fast, huh? When I was a kid, I had a hamster. I know I've told you about my hamster before, Robin, right? Did I ever tell you that one Easter?
And you said it pooped, too.
Yeah.
Hamster poop.
The hamster poop. My hamster's name was Dick, by the way. Yep. And then Dick had babies, and it was Mrs. Dick. But anyway, I remember one Easter, I put some jelly beans in the hamster cage. And my mother said, you can't feed jelly beans to the hamster. That's no good for him. Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and then later on, when I had a cat, you try to feed your cat. Oh, you can't feed your cat that. Cats had to have a certain diet. And I said, gosh, good. I'm glad I'm a human being. I can eat anything.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't. A lot of the problems we're having in our society is because we do eat things that we think we can eat. And the truth is, we probably shouldn't be. And it's guys like Joe Cross that help us see the devastating effect that bad food can have on us. He is a filmmaker. He's on the phone right now. He directed, produced, and was the subject of the award-winning documentaries Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead 1 and 2. He is an entrepreneur. He's a wellness advocate, a New York Times bestselling author, and you're going to love his book. It's called Juice It to Lose It, Lose Weight and Feel Great in Just 5 Days. Joe Cross. Good morning, Joe. How you doing?
G'day, Larry. G'day, Robin. How are you guys?
Good. Where are you?
Right now, I'm in New York City, flying to Detroit in about 4 hours.
That sounds like an Australian accent. Am I right?
Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, born and raised in Sydney,
Uh-huh.
on the northern beaches there. You been down there, Larry?
No, I would love to, but I have not.
Oh, you got to get that on the list, mate. You got to get down there and see our beautiful country. It's a special place.
It's about the size of the United States, isn't it? Isn't it about the same size?
You know. I think we're like the 5th biggest country in the world by landmass. I think you guys are number 3.
Okay.
I think you're bigger than us, but we're number 5. I think.
Well,
but we've only got 23 million people, so there's a lot of space.
Definitely, size doesn't matter when it comes to countries, unless you're like Rhode Island or something.
Which our county is bigger than.
So my grandfather, when I was a kid, he had a juice maker. Now, I'm talking about in the 60s, okay? And he would put carrots and tomatoes. He put everything in that thing and to make his own juice. And
He was ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time. And I remember he would throw away the pulp. So what is your advice? Do you throw it away or do you keep it as part of it?
Good question. I like to juice, which means I don't consume the pulp, but I also like to do smoothies, which means I do, and I like to eat my fruits and vegetables, which obviously means I eat them whole. If I'm in Australia, at my house in Australia, then I take my pulp and I put it in the compost bin and I use it for the garden. If I'm in New York City, I tend to try and store it where I can sort of use it for other things. You can use it for vegetable broth and all sorts of other things. But generally, got to say, when I'm in cities, it usually goes out into the bin.
Okay, and do you have a portable juicer or something? How do you do it when you're on the road?
No, well, actually, the incredible thing that's happened, Larry, is that in the last sort of 5-6 years, there's been an explosion of juice bars around the country. I'm sure where you guys are, and you would have noticed it yourself where you live, there's just an abundance of these juice bars, and they've just all popped up, and a lot of them are a small business where they're getting the produce for direct from farmers or farmers markets. running it through a machine, either a juicer or sometimes also including smoothies and adding the blender to the equation. And so it's not that difficult now on the road to find a fresh juice somewhere out on there. So, for example, I'm about to head out for about 2.5 weeks across the country. I'll be in Detroit tonight and tomorrow night. And already there's like 3 or 4 juice bars. I know some guys up there called Drought Juice, and I've already put my order in, and I'll have 6 bottles of juice at the hotel when I arrive there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Clean out the
Nice.
minibar.
Is it always
Put it in the minibar.
is it always better chilled?
Oh, yeah. Look, absolutely. Look, and I think what's important for the listener to understand when I'm talking about juice, I'm actually talking about drinking water that's been filtered through plants. That's what I call juice. There is this juice that sort of sits at ambient temperature in cans in the middle of our supermarkets. That's not juice. That's reconstituted flavoring of pineapples or cranberries with water and sugar added in, and that's not what I'm talking about.
That's not it. Okay, that was going to be a question in a few questions, but okay. So you don't like that the already bottled stuff?
No, we got to be very specific on the already bottled stuff, because there is 2 types of bottled juice that I will drink. That's the stuff that's called cold press, which has a 3-day shelf life, and that's what a lot of these small mum and pop shops are doing around the country.
Okay.
So that stuff I'll drink for sure, 100%. That's been made with love and a lot of care, and that's fabulous. And then there's another category called HPP, which is a new technology which actually does sort of like what the mum and pop shops do, but then they put it into a hyperbaric chamber and under 38, 39 degree temperature water, so very cold. They apply about 150,000 pounds of pressure to the bottle. The bottle compresses on itself, and inside the bacteria that was going to eat the juice in that 3-day period, after 3 days, that bacteria is neutralized, but the nutrients are still stable. And so you can get like a 30-day shelf life. And brands like that are big corporations like Suja and Evolution Fresh. These sorts of products that are doing cold press, HPP, I'll drink that as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it really depends. Now, are those pieces of information, that advice, are they in the book?
Well, not really, because this book the new book that I've written, Juice It to Lose It, is really the 5-day plan for somebody to get their life back on track, get their taste buds back on track, and really to give themselves, the way I describe it, Larry, is that this is a book that's going to give you 2 things. It's like a vacation, a 5-day vacation, and a trip in a time back in time to when there wasn't a lot of food around. And, most of our ancestors, yours and mine, we went through these periods of feast and famine. But in today's world, there's not a lot of famine going on in America, Australia, Great Britain, and the Western world.
Right.
Oh, you have a very refreshing approach about your book. You do not berate people if they deviate from this type of lifestyle.
No, not at all. Look. I've been doing this now. I mean, I've been on this sort of path myself, coming up 10 years. But I've been sort of public with it for 5 years. My film launched in July of 2011, and so for the last 5 years, this has been my life. And we've taken tens and tens of thousands of people. It's probably over 100,000 now of people through programs of what we call rebooting. We don't call it a detox or a cleanse like others do, simply because your body is detoxing and cleansing all the time. When you breathe out, when you perspire, when you go to the restroom, that's your body is constantly doing that. So we like to be a little bit more specific and sort of say, we all know that your computers and our operating systems need to sort of have a reboot from time to time. We need to switch off and restart the thing. I think that's sort of similar to our own operating systems with our own attitudes to food, to sleep, to exercise, to rest, to all of those things. We need to sort of say, take a step back, reassess, and start fresh.
And
so
go
ahead.
You compare drinking juice to drinking water. You can't just drink water.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. A lot of people ask me, Joe, what's the difference between blending, so say your NutriBullet and your Vitamix and those sorts of products which are blending up the produce versus say a juicer, and the difference is really quite dramatic. When you juice, you're drinking the water that's been trapped in the plant. So when I take a cucumber and celery and kale and lemon and apple and ginger and I put it through my juicer, I'm extracting all of that water being harnessed in those plants. And out comes the color, and the color is the micronutrients. The color is the vitamins, the minerals, phenolic acid, micronutrients that, we so incredibly important for our cells. Now, when you put it into a blender, yes, you're still getting the plant, you're still getting the fiber, but guess what? You can't put as much through the machine, and you've also got to add some liquid in, which effectively just takes a little bit of the rub off in terms of the density of the nutrition. So both are good, and I love doing both, but we really need to make sure people understand that juicing is getting a supercharged concentration of nutrients. So I kind of like to think about it as freebasing Mother Nature.
Oh, I like that. All right, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. The book is called Juice It to Lose It. The subtitle is Lose Weight and Feel Great in Just 5 Days. So I want to make sure that we understand that the book is kind of a workbook, I guess, to kind of get you through those 5 days and figure out what juices to drink. But I really also want to go back a little bit to the films that Joe Cross is known for, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. So we'll take a little break and do those questions on the other side of the break. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A delightful Wednesday with some sunshine and a high of 83 on the coast, 90 inland. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy, low 64 inland, 69 at the coast. For Thursday, partly sunny and very warm, high 84 at the coast, 91 inland. For Friday, sunshine and some clouds. There may be a late day shower or thunderstorm, high 86 at the coast, 92 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
80% of the super rich people in his study made a habit of associating with other success-minded individuals. They also consciously avoided toxic, negative people. It's nobody's business whether you're married, engaged, or starting a family because that's considered pregnancy discrimination. Dark chocolate contains more antioxidants, called flavanols, than any fruit or vegetable out there. Surprised?
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
Now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
This is the beat of a normal heart. Now this is the beat of a heart of someone who just snorted or injected or smoked amphetamine. Why? For a high. And this is what happens to that normal heartbeat. It's irregular, it's racing, it's why it's called speed, and it can do bizarre things to our heads. It can make us aggressive and violent. We can start hallucinating and end up doing some serious damage to people. Call 1-8888-NO-METH today for more information on methamphetamine. That's 1-8888-NO-METH.
A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free Florida and America.
Ocala's Got Talent. The semifinals are over. The finals are coming May 21st at 7 p.m. And they'll be held at the Heart of Florida Youth Ranch on Highway 301 in Sidra. We started with 10 finalists and we're down to the last 5. Tickets are only $10 each, and you can get yours at the WOCA studios. Or call us at 732-8000 and we can give you other locations where tickets are available. Remember, this is to help the Heart of Florida Youth Ranch, which in turn helps the many orphans in our area.
WWWWOCA,
When it really counts, depend on The Source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Fran Darkington. When I need news, I pass the rest and tune to The Source, WOCA.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Our guest is Joe Cross. He is the author of the book that we're focusing on called Juice It to Lose It, Lose Weight and Feel Great in Just 5 Days. He's also a filmmaker, and you might have seen or heard of the film anyway, called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. Joe, I wanted to ask you something. In the opening that I did earlier, I mentioned that I had, as a child, given my hamster some jelly beans, which the hamster didn't even go near. And it's almost like animals seem to know that's not going to be any good for me. We don't seem to know. We don't have an instinct of which foods are good and which are not good.
No, we don't, and it's probably our biggest problem, and it's our biggest issue we have right now in the world. I mean, there's lots of problems, I know, Larry, but I really believe that this problem of our own health and where we're going is not only in the US, my country as well. I mean, I just came back from Great Britain last week. You know, this is a worldwide epidemic that's going on, and you know, a lot of it is because probably our own doing. You know, we're such a sophisticated and highly advanced and technological society that we've actually created this new category of food called processed food that wasn't around like 70 years ago.
Right.
You know, we used to just have two choices: plants or animals. That was it. That's all we had.
That's right.
And now you throw in a third thing for a human. Oh well, we've got problems. And look, you know, one of the things that you talk about animals, and I have this in my talks when I give my chats to people. You know, most animals see in black and white. Now I don't know about hamsters, but I pretty much guess that they probably see in black and white as well. Most animals, horses, cows, dogs, cats, black and white.
Right.
Humans see in color. So do rats, by the way, because they eat everything.
Oh.
And because a third of our brain is devoted to sight. Now, I believe we see in color, not because of color TV, but because of fruits and vegetables. Because of the beautiful greens, the reds, the purples, the oranges, the yellows. They stand out to us so that they're attractive to us, because that's how, you know, we know that those sorts of food groups are exciting for us. Well, guess what the processed industry's done? All the packaging looks like beautiful fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
They make it stand out. They
That's
make
true.
it colorful. But with the food itself is gray, it's black, it's white, or it's got artificial coloring. So it's just an interesting little side note, but I couldn't agree with you more that we have a massive problem right now. We desire sugar, we desire fat, we desire salt. These calories, you know, for most of time on this planet, we've all been trying to get as many calories into our body as possible for the least amount of work.
Right.
In the last 70 years, boy, we've made that easy. We have completely flipped that around, and hence we have so many problems where 70% of all the disease in the Western world now is caused by our own lifestyle choices.
Oh my gosh.
I want to talk to you a little bit about money, because money often comes up in conversations about eating healthy, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but I think it applies to a significant number of people. And the poorer you are, the less money you have, the more likely it is that you're going to buy unhealthy food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper.
Look, it's a really good point. And look, I've just finished a new movie which is out on Netflix next week called The Kids Menu. And I focused on childhood obesity, and I went around this country and I spent a lot of time looking at this problem about feeding kids and how we can get nutrition food. Now, do you know what I found? I know that money is a factor, but I'll tell you a bigger factor. A bigger factor is there's two bigger factors for mine. Number one is time. Okay, so time to prepare the meal.
Okay, that's true.
And the second one is not the education that fruits and vegetables and whole foods are good for us. You know, I can go around this country with my camera crew and ask any random person on the street. They all know that it's good for them.
That's right.
The real problem is in the education of knowing what to do with them. Once you go to the market, once you go to the supermarket, you buy the stuff, you take it home, it's on the kitchen bench. Now what?
That's
Exactly.
right. That's right. Yeah.
So this is the problem. Now, the money side of things, believe it or not, if you get organized, if you get focused, if you have the time, then the money part can actually fall away. But you need, most people go out to a supermarket and they come back with a meal. They really should be coming back with ingredients for the meal. And so the home-cooked meal where you're in control of what's going on and you know what's going on and you've done your research, and that's really the bigger issue is time and knowledge. Education.
Okay. Specifically, I wanted to ask regarding money about the juice bar. When you mentioned juice bars earlier, that's a really great option, and if you can afford it, that's awesome, because then the time element is taken care of. You don't have to go home and juice things. It's all done for you. But there is still a money element there, and quite frankly, juice bars might be out of a person's budget. So I'm guessing getting a juice machine is worth the investment. Even if it's $100, it's probably going to pay for itself as far as, in other words, go home, make your own juice instead of going to a juice bar, right?
So it's a little bit like coffee, right? I mean, you can make coffee at home or you can go to Starbucks, right?
Yeah, right.
You've got that choice. Now, when you go to Starbucks, you're going to pay a premium for a coffee because someone else is making it for you.
Right.
So it's a little bit similar with juicing. Now, you mentioned $100 as a price point for a juicer. I would probably say, let's go to $150. The problem I have with juicers are in the $70, $80, $90 is that the most expensive part of the juicing is your raw materials going into the machine. So you want to make sure you're extracting as much of the nutrients as possible. I tend to find that the lower price machines don't extract as much. So over time, you're going to be losing out because it's like buying a car that's got pretty ordinary mileage, right? Might be cheap, but over time you're going to pay a lot in gas.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
So that's probably the way I would think. For $150, you can get a great juicer. Now, yesterday I did a segment on Fox Business, and I bought $7.50 worth of produce, 2 pears, 2 apples, large cucumber, a whole bunch of spinach, 6 kale stalks with kale leaves with their stalks, and a bit of ginger. It cost me about $7.50 in an expensive New York City deli.
Oh, wow.
We made around 32 ounces of what I call the Easy Bean green juice. Now, that 32 ounces gave enough juice for 3 big adults, the camera guy, the sound guy, and the host, all drank this and loved it, by the way. I mean, the camera guy, when he first looked at it, said, "You'll never get me drinking that." By the end of it, he was like,
Those camera guys, what's the matter with them?
Yeah, exactly. So here's an example of like around sort of $2.75, $3 for your own juice versus probably $6, $6.50 going.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
How do you help the person that is on medication, like for their diabetes or their thyroid, for example?
Yeah, Robin, great question. So, this is one of the things that really blows me away, this whole medication issue. I mean, America's just 5% of the population, but consumes more than 50% of the pharmaceuticals worldwide. The whole of the production.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
We have a massive problem in terms of people that are not well. I call it that they're broken, right? They're just not where they should be. So we have had thousands of people that have reversed their diabetes type 2 by going on what we call a 60-day diabetes reboot. And we run those programs through our Reboot with Joe website. Now, they're specific programs with nutritionists and dietitians taking people through on a step-by-step hand-holding experience. So I'm not comfortable just saying to anyone who's listening who's type 2 diabetes, "Oh yeah, just go and start juicing, you'll be fine." We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that their healthcare professional is involved. We want to make sure it's done with our experts, and we can take people through this program, and that can be a huge benefit. So the very simple way I think about it, Robin, is that one of the major problems that we have is that out of every 17 calories we consume, just one of them is what we call micronutrient rich that comes from whole foods. 16 of them are coming from animal or from processed food. We need to change that balance. We need to get at least 4 or 5 or 6 of the 17 coming from plants. We really need to find fun, exciting, tasty, interesting ways to supercharge up our micronutrients. In other words, our fruits, our vegetables, nuts, beans, seeds, whole grains. And I think juicing is just another tool in our armory for doing that, as is a blender and as is our hands and our knives and forks. But that's really the shift. And when people start doing this and they get into it, if they're frightened of doing just 5 days of juice only and they get scared, fine. Read my new book and you'll understand why you're not going to be frightened, why it's a great thing to do. But even if that's too much for you, just adding juice to your daily diet, consuming more plant food is going to, in the long run, serve you better. And hey, guess what? Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are throwing away their medicine because they're switching over to more plants.
I have a copy of the book. It's called "Juice It to Lose It." It's written by Joe Cross. And if you have suddenly become interested in wanting to juice, you're with me. I'm doing the same thing. In fact, while Joe was talking, I went to BestBuy.com to see if I could buy one over there. It's across the street, Joe. Just so you know. So let me.
That's fine, mate. That's fine.
Let me give away the book that Joe sent us, and I will buy my own. Let me take a quick call, and we'll give it away. 622-9622. And good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Yes, Larry, this is Judy. Thank you very much.
Judy, you've got the book. Thank you. It'll be waiting for you here. So the rest of us have to buy it. Joe, give us a website.
Rebootwithjoe.com.
Rebootwithjoe.com. Okay, excellent. I'm going to go to the website. Joe, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. I think you got us
Larry,
all.
Robin, it's been a pleasure.
You got us all pumped up with being healthy.
Oh, juice on, guys. All right.
All right. Thank you, Joe. We will be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Bernie Sanders racks up win number 19 with his West Virginia victory, though Hillary Clinton maintains her delegate lead. As for Donald Trump, he meets tomorrow with House Speaker Paul Ryan, who hasn't endorsed him.
If we make a deal, that'll be great. And if we don't, we will trudge forward like I've been doing and winning, all the time.
Speaking on Fox and Friends this morning, parts of the country's midsection reeling from rough weather.
20 counties across western Kentucky and southern Illinois reporting storm damage, but the most damage was by a large and violent twister that carved a path in Mayfield where resident Marty Winfrey had only seconds to get his neighbors and himself to safety.
They kneeled down beside that truck and a tornado took their trailer and left them there by the truck.
The American Red Cross has set up an emergency command center.
Matt McLean with Fox News Radio affiliate WKYX. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road. And with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the Certified Pre-Owned Sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. Only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Today in Florida Ag News, I'm a Southeast AgNet, where the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences held an event Monday night called the Flavors of Florida. With more on what that is all about, here's Southeast AgNet intern Kelsey Fry.
The University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences put on the 3rd annual Flavors of Florida event at the UF President's House in Gainesville on May 9th. The event was designed to showcase the edible research products of UF IFAS and celebrate the accomplishments of Field and Fork, the campus food pantry, and other UF research and partnerships. UF IFAS Senior Vice President Jack Payne started off the night with an address to the attendees. He spoke about the impacts, possibilities, and passion needed to move Florida forward. A common theme of the night used to highlight the optimism that UF IFAS has for the future of agriculture. Among the more than 150 guests present were Assistant Commissioner of Agriculture Mike Joyner, UF IFAS faculty, and numerous other industry leaders, donors, and professors. The flavors of Florida were present in all of the courses that were served throughout the night. All of the dishes were made to highlight a special cuisine of Florida agriculture. Payne said the event represents the innovation and research of the UF IFAS plant breeding program.
Called Flavors of Florida. It's the 3rd year we've done this. It really represents the research and innovation of our plant breeding program, and to celebrate the new foods we've created, the different varieties. A lot of our plant breeders are trying to come up with more nutritious foods, foods that have a longer shelf life, that have a nice appearance, basically are more nutritious for our diets. And we started 3 years ago to have this dinner for our stakeholders, and it turned out to be a great success. And so we have 3 different chefs here tonight, and using ingredients and various foods that IFAS created, we'll have a multi-course dinner through the evening to celebrate those creations. Very happy to see a great turnout tonight, and it's going to be a great evening. Appreciate you being here.
For Southeast AgNet, I'm Kelsey Fry.
Thanks, Kelsey. And to see more on this story, go to our website, southeastagnet.com. Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought